As we all know, in the modern days, there is a shortage of GPUs. So today, I'm gonna show an alternate option that is cheap, readily available, and will provide a decent performance within $70. This is a GeForce GTX 760 by ZOTAC. Well, it has all the dust on it as it came right out of my casing. So this was released in June 2013, which makes it an 8-year-old graphics card. Well, is it really worth it? It's a 2-fan variant with 2 GB of video RAM. It's all plastic with a neutral design. The fans seem to be of a low quality, but they do their job quite well. The length of the card ranges up to 260 mm. The width is around 95 mm and the fan size ranges up to 80 mm each. The GTX 760 has a video memory of 2048 MB, 1152 CUDA cores, memory clock speed of around 6208 MHz and the memory bus speed around 256. On the back of the card, you get one dual-link DVI, one normal DVI, a full-size HDMI port and a full-size display port as well. It consumes about 180 watt of power from the power supply. Now the recommended power supply required to power the 760 is around 500 watts. So this was just a quick overview for the GTX 760. Now I'll go through the system specs that will be used to benchmark the GPU. For the motherboard, I have the ASUS Prime B450MK. RYZEN 5 2600 as the processor, 16 GB of DDR4 RAM, 500 watt PSU, and of course the ZOTAC GTX 760. Starting off with FORTNITE, one of the most widely played multiplayer battle royale games around the world. To be very honest, I am not a good player at all, so bear with that. So right now I'm playing the FORTNITE Chapter 2 Season 6. You get a lot of new advanced options in this season and is also a very graphic demanding season as well. Now I do like playing on the performance mode as it helps the game to perform better on PCs which are not applicable to handle high level graphics, which in my case is the requirement. I did get around 200 frames per second in FORTNITE on the performance mode. The graphics are pretty good and the gameplay is amazing. So without the performance mode on, I got almost 170 plus FPS and there were no complaints. GTA 5 is an action-adventure game played from either a third-person or a first-person perspective. You can also play it online with other players as it has a wide range of players around the world. Now in GTA 5, I am getting around 30 FPS with all the settings set out at medium. They can be increased after lowering the graphics settings. Also keep in mind that I am running this game at Full HD, which is 1920 by 1080p resolution. Now according to me it is fine, the game is playable and I faced no lag or glitches in the game. If you do want to boost your frames in GTA 5, then switch to HD resolution. Coming to the third game, which is Forza Horizon 4. It is a racing game set in an open world environment with regions that include condensed representations of Edinburgh, the Lake District, Ambleside and many more. Well, it's a really attractive game if you talk about its graphics and gameplay. The GTX 760 is giving me around 70 to 80 frames per second, which do fluctuate in between depending upon the map region. Now I have Assassin's Creed Origins, which is an action-adventure stealth game played from a third-person perspective. Players need to complete quests with set objectives to progress through the story. The game ran on 60 FPS on average and it boosts to 80 frames at times. Again, the graphics should be set to medium for a smooth gameplay. Counter-Strike Global Offensive, also known as CSGO, is a team-based first-person shooter that is played all around the world. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Talking about the gameplay, I get around 100 frames per second, which is pretty decent at Full HD. The game runs smoothly without any lag or glitches. The next to come is Red Dead Redemption 2. The story is set in 1899 in a fictionalized representation of the Western, Midwestern, and Southern United States and also follows outlaw Arthur Morgan, a member of Vandalin gang. The story also follows fellow gang member John Marston, the protagonist of Red Dead Redemption. Now in this game, I'm getting around 30 to 40 frames per second without any jitter. The graphics are low, but the gameplay is smooth. You can also increase the graphics a little much to get better video quality, but in my case, I prefer FPS. VALORANT is a tactical shooting game involving two teams with 5 players in each team. Every game has 25 rounds and the team that wins 13 of them first wins the game. Players can choose their in-game characters called agents at the start of the game. Now after playing this game, I was shocked. I mean, look at the frame rates. On Full HD settings at 60 Hz, I was getting around 200 frames per second. Then I decided to shift at 1280 by 1024p resolution at 75 Hz. And here I am, getting around 130 to 140 FPS, which is breathtaking for an 8-year-old GPU. Need for Speed Heat, again one of my favorite games, is a racing game set in an open world environment called Palm City. Fictionalized version of the city Miami, Florida and its surrounding area. In Need for Speed Heat, players can switch between day and night. In the daytime, the frames roam between 60 to 70 FPS, whereas the nighttime makes a big difference. You get to see almost 30 frames per second in the nighttime with rain. And without rain, they jump to 40 FPS. Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon WILDLANDS, which is a tactical cover-based shooter game set in an open-world environment, with a variety of vehicles such as dirt bikes, helicopters, and dune buggies featured in the game. At low settings, I was getting an average of 50 to 60 frames per second, which sometimes did boost up to 70 and 80. I wasn't expecting this card to run this game at over 30 FPS, but this is a surprise. Last but not the least, I'll be running Witcher 3 Wild Hunt as my last benchmark for the GTX 760. It is a third-person action role-playing game having an amazing story. Now you do see frame drops at different regions in the game. It can be played between 40 to 50 FPS without any lag and jitter. Now according to me, it is a pretty decent option as I can game and work efficiently on this card at average frame rates. So this was it for now. Your feedback is highly appreciated. Signing off, Tech Tonight.